The notion that the mainstream media uses climate change to oppress Christians is a concept that has gained traction in recent years, particularly among conservative circles. Proponents of this idea argue that the media's emphasis on climate change is a veiled attempt to undermine Christian values and impose a secular, liberal agenda on society. However, a closer examination of this claim reveals a more complex and nuanced reality. On the surface, it appears that the media's coverage of climate change is primarily focused on raising awareness about the scientific consensus surrounding the issue and the need for urgent action to mitigate its effects. Climate change is a pressing global issue that poses significant threats to ecosystems, economies, and human health, and the media's role in covering this topic is largely driven by a desire to inform the public and hold those in power accountable for their actions. However, some critics argue that the media's coverage of climate change often comes at the expense of Christian values and perspectives. For example, some Christian leaders have expressed concerns that the media's emphasis on climate change is being used to promote a radical environmental agenda that prioritizes the protection of the natural world over human life and dignity. Others have argued that the media's focus on climate change is a form of eco-theology that seeks to replace traditional Christian teachings with a new, secular form of reverence for the natural world. Despite these claims, there is little evidence to suggest that the mainstream media is using climate change as a vehicle to oppress Christians. In fact, many Christian denominations and organizations are actively engaged in environmental activism and advocacy, recognizing the important role that faith communities can play in promoting sustainability and protecting the planet. The Pope's encyclical on climate change, Laudato Si', is a notable example of this trend, as it emphasizes the moral imperative of addressing climate change and promoting environmental stewardship from a distinctly Christian perspective. Moreover, the idea that the media is somehow oppressing Christians by covering climate change is a curious one, given that many Christians are actively working to address the issue and promote sustainable practices within their communities. The claim that climate change is being used as a form of oppression also ignores the very real and disproportionate impact that climate change is having on vulnerable communities around the world, including many Christian communities in developing countries. It is also worth noting that the media's coverage of climate change is not uniformly hostile to Christian perspectives. In fact, many media outlets have made a concerted effort to incorporate diverse perspectives and voices into their coverage of climate change, including those of Christian leaders and organizations. This is reflective of a broader trend in which the media is recognizing the importance of faith and spirituality in shaping public discourse and debate around environmental issues. In conclusion, the claim that the mainstream media is using climate change to oppress Christians is a simplistic and misleading narrative that fails to capture the complexity and nuance of the issue. While there may be some critics who argue that the media's coverage of climate change is biased or incomplete, the overwhelming evidence suggests that the media is primarily motivated by a desire to inform the public and promote awareness about this critical issue. Rather than seeking to oppress Christians, the media is providing a vital service by shedding light on the urgent need for action to address climate change and by amplifying the voices and perspectives of those who are working to promote sustainability and environmental stewardship. By engaging with the issue of climate change in a thoughtful and constructive manner, Christians and other people of faith can play a vital role in shaping the public discourse and promoting solutions that are grounded in their values and principles.